Hello everyone, today I'm going to be going through the editing of my opening sequence and everything that I would like to change and improve if I had more time. First of all, this is the first time I've ever edited anything. This is the first time I've ever used Premiere Pro, so I did have to learn along the way as well as beforehand watch a lot of videos. So I felt I was kind of behind on the editing aspect because I've never done it before and I didn't have much practice in the past. So it was kind of a thing of learning everything from scratch and learning how to do things and how to add effects and how to change the color and how to adjust the audio. So everything was very new and complicated at first, but eventually I got used to it and created a product that I think I am comfortable with and happy with. So first of all, I'm going to go through the adjustment layer of the color grading. So I added an adjustment layer and cropped it here. So all of this can be the same filter and color graded all the way through. I'm going to do a separate blog post on the title sequences, but I wanted this section of the film to be highly saturated, very pink, in order to create the deception that this film is a chick flick. As you know, it's a hybrid genre of chick flick and thriller, and we wanted the film to start off with the audience opinion that it is a chick flick and it's very girly and conventional of a chick flick with all the pinks coming out. So to do this, I added a very large pink tint as well as a high saturation. And I also sharpened, made the sequence more vibrant, as well as made a certain tint that I was happy with it. I didn't want it to be too pink, and I also liked the fact that by increasing the blue, especially on the curves here, by increasing the blue, I was able to create a retro vibe, as well as basically just playing around with all of these hue versus saturation and just finding something that I was comfortable with at the end that gave the effect that I was most happy with. So this color continued until the realization or the audience was anchored with the ideology that this protagonist isn't how she is represented on the inside. And then we have this clip where the color changes. So as you can see, it gets a lot darker, a lot more gray. And to represent this part of the sequence, I basically kept the saturation the same. I didn't change any saturation. I made the exposure very low, contrast very high, shadows a bit higher than the whites, saturation lower, and yeah, I basically did the opposite as what I did with the first adjustment layer. And this is just to create the sense of darkness and the sense of just that she wasn't what she said she was, and that's what the cut here is meant to represent. With the curves, I turned down the blues so it's not as like retro Y2K and colorful as it was before. And then again, I just played around with these and saw what I liked the best and then kept it. Overall, I think this was harder because we were meant to be filming at nighttime. So the window with its color in the background was definitely making, with its lighting, sorry, in the background was definitely making it harder to represent the darkness. But we do have a few clips towards the end where it is dark almost, and I was able to portray that a lot nicer. So now I'm going to go through the effects that I used. So in the start, I did a simple, transitions. I did a simple fade in from black. I thought this would be just an effective um, transition, and it makes it look more clean and professional, a lot more like how it would in a obviously real high conglomerate film. And then here I thought this bit would be interesting to do a nice fade from the music starting, and then it portrays her starting the music. I matched up the audio to her putting the thing down, and then I felt a zoom into her writing on the title credits appearing would be smooth and effective rather than just a simple cut. Because if I remove this and show you what it would look like with a simple cut, it just feels sorry. It just feels too Dear Diary boring to me, if that makes sense. So I decided to add that in just for a little extra technique and something that makes it a lot more smooth running. So the next effect that I added was much later on in the sequence, towards the end, because I didn't want to add too many. I feel like the main thing I wanted to do was make it cutty, more like a getting ready montage rather than all these different transitions. But I did add a transition at the end. Here, we wanted to show the interpretation that she's kissing the page, because of course here she writes with Carmilla, and then on this clip there's a kiss mark, and the kiss mark obviously is very aesthetically pleasing, and it also portrays her lipstick, which is quite important in the sequence as of what it represents and the feminist power that it represents. So I felt like I couldn't just end it on her writing it. So I needed to add this clip. I was going to add it at first, but then I decided to add it, and I needed some way where the kiss would appear. So I did a bit of a fade into black, fade from black, and then the kiss appears. So it kind of looks like she's leaned in, kissed the paper. It's kind of like a point of view shot of her pulling out from the kiss almost. And I just thought that looked kind of cool, kind of like the audience was her almost. I just thought this would be a good idea for the title sequence. And then I did another fade out. I tried not to overcomplicate the editing of the opening sequence, because in chick flicks you don't really see a lot of technical editing, technical transitions. It's very cut to cut. So that's why mainly all of it is cuts here. And that is kind of the effect I wanted to go for. I also didn't want the clips to be too long either, so you can see they're like no longer than like 3 seconds long each. And then for the voiceover, obviously I wanted it to show a different parts of the sequence, so I basically just chopped it all up and then increased the volume of it, because there was obviously a bit of a problem with the volume since it is very quiet compared to the music. So I turned the level up to 15 dp on every single one. And then for the actual music, I turned this down to minus 13 dp so it wouldn't overpower the voiceover and the enigmas within the voiceover. And then there was one clip that the dialogue was meant to be spoken outside of the voiceover, but unfortunately the camera didn't pick it up well and we still needed this clip. So we had to add a voiceover here as well to kind of mimic what she said in real life and try and match it up so it would look like she actually said it when she didn't. It's on a voiceover, but this is a bit that I wasn't happy with because it kind of decreased the realism of the film. Like, it was kind of not out of time, but it was almost delayed. Like, you can tell that she didn't actually say it, which isn't what I was going for, but there was really nothing else I could do if I wanted this clip in the sequence. Another thing that I wasn't that happy with was some of the arrangements of the clips and some of the clips that I was able to put in. There were some clips that I wanted to put in, but if I did, it wouldn't make sense with the voiceover. So we had some really great clips of like bloody items and such, but I'd already like things that create more enigma. I had a lot of those clips, but first of all, they weren't to the standard of the clips that I'd already included, and they just didn't fit the sequence as well as I previously interpreted. So I was kind of disappointed that I wasn't able to add them in because of their quality and the fact that they just wouldn't go well within the sequence that I'd already put together. So that is something that I would definitely think about more next time before editing. And yeah, that is the whole editing of Love, Carmilla explained. Overall, I think this is a decent job. Next time, if I had the arrangement already laid out before I started editing the new clips that I arranged, maybe I will be able to add certain things that I wasn't able to add before, and maybe I would be able to make things fit together more nicely. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But still, I'm very happy with what I did manage to edit since I've never edited before. I was very happy with the color grading, especially, and the overall editing. Thank you.